Have you ever looked at two women of the same age and wondered, why does one woman have a lot of wrinkles but still a beautiful, sharp face shape, while another woman has almost no wrinkles but suddenly starts getting jowls, heaviness, and a disappearing jawline? And then there are women who don't look very wrinkled or very saggy, they just look tired, as if life has quietly sat on their faces. The truth is, we do not all age in the same way. And one of the biggest beauty mistakes women make after 40 is following advice that was created for a completely different face. If your problem is sagging, wrinkle cream will not save your jawline. If your problem is pigmentation, a lifting device will not be enough. If your problem is muscle tension, hydration alone will not change deep expression lines. So today I want to talk about the main types of facial aging, how to recognize your type, why different women age differently, and what skincare, beauty technologies, and lifestyle habits make the most sense for each type. And just as importantly, I want to talk about the psychology of accepting your aging type, because acceptance does not mean giving up. It means finally understanding what you are dealing with and what you are working with. Before we begin, a small disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. I am not diagnosing anyone, and any professional procedures or active technologies should always be discussed with a healthcare qualified specialist, especially if you have health conditions. Now let's start. Why we age differently. To make it even more vivid, I asked AI to generate pictures showing me getting older with this or that aging type. And you can see that the difference is very big. When we talk about facial aging, we think about some universal process. Wrinkles, sagging, dry skin, loss of volume, but in reality, aging is much more individual. Your face ages according to your genetics, your bone structure, your skin thickness, your facial fat distribution, your hormones, your lifestyle, your sun exposure, and even your ethnic background. And this is where we need to be very careful. I don't mean to say that every Slavic or Western European Every Slavic woman ages one way, every Western European woman ages another way. That would be too simplistic. Also, Slavic women are European women too, so when I say Western European in this video, I mostly mean fair-skinned Western or Northern European facial aging patterns, often discussed in dermatology and aesthetic research. But there are some tendencies for sure. For example, many Eastern European or Slavic-looking faces are often associated with the deformation type of aging. That means the skin may stay relatively dense and not extremely wrinkled, but the lower face starts to become heavier. The jawline becomes less defined. The cheeks may look puffier. Nasolabial folds become deeper. Jowls appear, and the woman may say, I don't have so many wrinkles, but somehow my face looks older. In many fair-skinned Western or Northern European women, visible photoaging can be more prominent. Fine lines, wrinkles, redness, pigmentation, and texture changes. And in many Asian women, wrinkles may appear later, but pigmentation, uneven skin tone, eyelid changes, mid-face changes, and loss of freshness may become more noticeable. Again, these are tendencies, not rules. Your passport does not decide your aging type. Your anatomy does. And that is actually good news, because once you understand your anatomy, you can stop blaming yourself and start choosing more intelligent care. There are no perfect worldwide statistics showing which aging type is the most common, because different countries and researchers use different classifications. But in some Eastern European clinical samples, the deformation type appears to be one of the most frequent types among women who seek aesthetic correction. And this makes sense because many women after 40 are not only worried about wrinkles, they are worried about the lower face, the jawline, the neck, the feeling that the face is moving downward. So let's go through the main types. The first type is the fine-wrinkled type. This is the woman who may keep a relatively good face shape for a long time, but she develops many small wrinkles. Usually, the skin is thinner, more delicate, often drier, and more sensitive to sun exposure. You may notice fine lines around the eyes, crow's feet, lines around the lips, creepy texture, thin skin on the cheeks. Sometimes the face does not sag dramatically, but the surface of the skin starts showing age earlier. This type is often seen in naturally slim women, especially women with less facial fat and thin skin. That's why women of the same age can look so different. One woman says, "My face is still quite lifted, but I have so many lines." Another woman says, "I have almost no wrinkles, but my face is falling." Different biology, different problems. How can you recognize the fine wrinkle type? Ask yourself, do I get fine lines very easily? Does my skin look thin? Do I have wrinkles even when my face is relaxed? Is dryness one of my main problems? Do I feel that my face shape is still okay, but the skin texture is aging? If yes, you may have a fine wrinkled type, or at least a fine wrinkled component. For this type, the main focus is skin quality. Hydration is important. Barrier repair is important. Sun protection is absolutely essential. Retinoids can be helpful if your skin tolerates them. Vitamin C, peptides, ceramides, and collagen-supporting ingredients may also be useful. Technologies that focus on skin quality can be interesting for this type, such as red light therapy, gentle radiofrequency, professional collagen-stimulating treatments, and resurfacing procedures, when appropriate, of course. But with thin skin, the key word is gentle. More is not always better. Overexfoliation can damage such skin instead of making it look younger. With such aging type, a woman of 35 can look in the mirror and say, "Oh, I'm aging faster than anyone else," but that is not necessarily true. Fine lines are only one part of aging. Many women with this type keep elegant facial proportions for a long time, which is quite good. So the goal is not to panic about every line. The goal is to protect the skin, support collagen, preserve the barrier, and remember that wrinkles do not destroy beauty. They simply ask for a more intelligent strategy. Now let's talk about the type many women are most afraid, the deformation type. This is the type where the skin may not be extremely wrinkled. Sometimes the skin is actually quite dense, thick, or combination, but the face starts to change structurally. The lower third becomes heavier. The jawline loses definition. The cheeks may become puffier. The nasolabial folds become deeper. Jowls appear. The neck may start changing. And very often the woman says, "I don't understand. I don't have that many wrinkles, but I look older." That sentence is very typical for deformation aging, because the main issue is not the surface of the skin. The main issue is gravity, fluid retention, tissue heaviness, facial fat distribution, and the descent of soft tissues. This type is often discussed in relation to Eastern European and Slavic facial aging patterns, although of course not every Slavic woman has it. How can you recognize the deformation type? Ask yourself, is my main concern the lower face? Is my jawline becoming less clear? Do I see jowls forming? Do I look puffier than before? Do I have deeper nasolabial folds? Do I feel that my face is becoming heavier rather than more wrinkled? If yes, you may have a deformation type or a deformation component. For this type, the strategy is different. A cream alone cannot lift heavy tissues. Skincare is still important, of course, but skincare should not be expected to do the work of structure. The focus here is reducing puffiness, supporting muscle tone, improving circulation, maintaining a stable, healthy weight, and choosing lifting-focused approaches when needed. At home, lymphatic drainage massage can be useful if done gently and correctly. Microcurrent devices may be interesting for supporting facial tone. EMS technologies may also be useful for some people, depending on the device and contradictions. But I want to be very honest here, no home device will give you a surgical facelift. And we should stop expecting miracles from gadgets. A good device may support the face. It may improve tone. It may help with puffiness. It may give a fresher, more lifted appearance. But it will not turn back time completely. Professional treatments for this type often focus on lifting, tightening, collagen stimulation, and sometimes structural correction. But again, this has to be individualized. The psychological challenge of deformation aging is that the change can feel sudden. You may feel that one day you looked like yourself and then suddenly your face became heavier. It can be emotionally difficult because this type changes the expression of the face. You may look tired, sad, or severe even when you do not feel that way. And this is where acceptance becomes important. Not passive acceptance, not I give up, but mature acceptance, the kind where you say, okay, this is my structure. Now I understand what is happening. I will stop wasting money on tiny wrinkle solutions when my main issue is the lower face. That is powerful because once you understand deformation aging, you stop fighting the wrong battle. The third type is muscular aging. This type is common in people with strong facial muscles, good facial tone, and relatively firm tissues. These women often look younger for a long time. Their face may not sag very early. Their skin may not become extremely crepey early. The face can remain quite defined and expressive. But then aging appears in another way, expression lines, forehead lines, frown lines, crow's feet, lines around the mouth, tension in the jaw. Sometimes the face starts looking stricter or more intense. The issue here is not necessarily weakness. It is overactivity. Strong muscles, repeated facial expressions, stress, and tension leave visible marks over time. How can you recognize the muscular type? Ask yourself, do I have strong facial expressions? Do people tell me my face is expressive? Do I frown without noticing? Do I have forehead lines or frown lines even when relaxed? Do I clench my jaw? Do I hold tension around the eyes, forehead, or mouth? If yes, you may have a muscular type or a muscular component. For this type, the strategy is not only skincare. Of course, you still need hydration, sun protection, and barrier support, but you also need relaxation. Facial tension matters. Stress matters. Sleep matters. Jaw clenching matters. For home care, gentle massage, relaxation techniques, and awareness of facial habits can be surprisingly helpful. Some women also consider professional treatments that reduce muscle overactivity, but that is a very personal decision and it should be discussed with a qualified healthcare professional. Technologies for this type should be chosen carefully. If the main problem is muscle overactivity, you do not always want to overstimulate already tense muscles. So the question is not what is the most powerful device, the question is what does my face actually need? More stimulation or more relaxation? That is a huge difference. The psychological challenge of muscular aging is that many women with this type are used to looking younger. So when aging finally becomes visible, it can feel like a betrayal. You might think, I was fine for years, why did this line suddenly appear? But it did not appear from nowhere. It was built slowly through expression, tension, and repeated movement. And again, understanding this helps. You stop seeing your face as an enemy. You start reading it as information. The fourth type is the tired type. This is one of the most emotionally frustrating types because people may constantly say, you look tired, even when you are not tired. And honestly, after 40, that sentence should be illegal. The tired type is not necessarily about deep wrinkles or major sagging. It is about the loss of freshness. The face looks less rested. The under-eye area may become hollow or darker. The skin may look dull. The midface may lose volume. The mouth corners may start to descend. The face may look sadder or more exhausted than the person feels inside. How can you recognize the tired type? Ask yourself, do I often look tired even after sleeping? Is the under-eye area one of my main concerns? Has my face lost freshness? Does my skin look dull? Do I look emotionally exhausted in photos even when I feel okay? Do I have early volume loss rather than heavy sagging? If yes, you may have a tired type or a tired component. Sleep quality matters. Hydration matters. Nutrition matters. Iron, vitamin D, hormones, and general health may matter, so if the tired look is sudden or extreme, it is worth checking your health with a doctor. In skincare, you want to support glow, hydration, barrier function, and collagen. Ingredients like hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, vitamin C, peptides, and gentle retinoids may be useful, depending on skin tolerance. Technologies that support circulation, glow, and collagen can be interesting. These are red light therapy, gentle massage, some microcurrent routines, and professional treatments focused on skin quality and volume support. But the most important thing with the tired type is not to treat the face only from the outside. For this type, the strategy is about vitality, because sometimes the face is showing what the nervous system has been carrying for years. Stress, bad sleep, hormonal changes, emotional overload. Too many responsibilities. Too little recovery. And this is where psychology becomes part of beauty. Not in a cheesy way, in a real way. Because no cream can fully replace rest. No device can fully compensate for living in survival mode. And many women after 40 are not aging badly. They are exhausted. Now, here is the part that makes everything more realistic. Most women are not one pure type. You may have deformation aging in the lower face, fine wrinkles around the eyes, and tight aging under the eyes. Or you may have muscular aging in the forehead, but deformation aging around the jawline. Or you may be mostly fine-wrinkled but with pigmentation and tiredness as your main aging signals. This is normal. These types are not boxes. They are like maps. The point is not to label yourself. The point is to understand what your dominant aging pattern is. So, when you look in the mirror, try not to ask, "What is wrong with my face?" Ask instead, "What is my face actually showing me?" Is it showing dryness? Then support the barrier. Is it showing pigmentation? Then focus on sun protection and tone correction. Is it showing sagging? Then think structure, puffiness, weight stability, muscle tone, and lifting approaches. Is it showing tension? Then think relaxation, stress facial habits, and muscle activity. Is it showing exhaustion? Then think sleep, recovery, circulation, health, and vitality. This approach is much kinder and much more effective. This is also why copying influencers can be so disappointing. A 28-year-old influencer with fine lines may recommend a serum and say, "This changed my face." But if you are 47 and your main issue is jowls, that serum will not change your face in the same way. Another woman may say, "Microcurrent lifted my face." But if your issue is pigmentation and thick skin, your priorities may be completely different. Someone else may love strong exfoliating acid, but if your skin barrier is fragile, you may end up more irritated and older looking. That does not mean the product is bad. It means it was not chosen for your face. This is why I believe women after 40 need more intelligent beauty conversations. Not fear, not miracles, not anti-aging panic, just better information. Because when you understand your aging type, you become a much smarter consumer. You stop buying everything. You stop chasing every trend. You stop expecting one cream, one serum, or one device to solve all your problems. And you start building a strategy. Now let's talk about acceptance. Because I know this topic can be sensitive. When we start analyzing our faces, it is very easy to become cruel to ourselves. We start seeing every fold, every line, every shadow, every sign of change. And suddenly the mirror becomes a battlefield. But that is not the purpose of understanding aging types. The purpose is not to criticize yourself more. The purpose is to stop fighting blindly. Acceptance does not mean I do nothing. Acceptance means I see reality clearly and I choose how I want to take care of myself. That is very different. When you accept your aging type, you stop trying to have someone else's face. You stop comparing your bone structure to someone with a completely different facial anatomy. You stop comparing your pigmentation to someone with a different skin type. You stop comparing your 43-year-old face to a 25-year-old influencer with perfect lighting and filters. And you begin to ask better questions. Not how do I look younger at any cost, but how do I look healthy, fresh, confident, and like myself? That is the kind of beauty I'm interested in, not pretending that age doesn't exist. Not surrendering to age either, but working with your face instead of attacking it. So let's summarize. If you are mostly fine-wrinkled, your key focus is skin quality, hydration, barrier repair, sun protection, collagen support, and gentle renewal. If you are mostly deformation type, your key focus is structure, puffiness, tissue, descent, jawline, weight stability, lymphatic drainage, tone support, and lifting focus technologies. If you are mostly muscular type, your key focus is muscle activity, expression lines, tension, stress, jaw clenching, relaxation, and careful use of stimulating technologies. If you are mostly tired type, your key focus is vitality, under-eyes dullness, volume loss, sleep, recovery, circulation, and overall health. And if you are mixed, welcome to the club. Most of us are. So now I want you to do something. Look at your face, not with criticism, but with curiosity. Ask yourself, do I mostly wrinkle? Do I mostly sag? Do I mostly look tense? Or do I mostly look tired? And tell me in the comments which type you think you are. Fine-wrinkled, deformation, muscular, or tired, or a combination. In one of my next videos, I will talk more specifically about beauty devices and home technologies and which aging types they may suit best, because a device should not just be trendy, it should make sense for your face. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. And remember, aging is not one story. Every face ages differently. The goal is not to erase yourself. The goal is to understand yourself and take care of yourself with intelligence, kindness, and taste. See you in the next videos.